Welcome back, everyone, to Yugoloth Tabletop. My name is Charlie Harbin, and I will be your Dungeon Master for tonight. Joining me are my four wonderful players.
Will Boyle, I play Moldavite, the full-knife Githyanki Rogue, and it's not many D&D podcasts where you jump dimensions in the first episode.
Nice!
I'm Keyjohn Smith, and I'm playing Izzy Vanderplin, Divine Soul Sorcerer, and just like every other fantasy world, my father let me go on a mystical adventure with an enemy.
Hi, it's Nick Bevilacqua, and playing back again with Goatee, our favorite tree sniper. Okay.
And I am Cheyenne Mitchell, playing Alara Cyanidel, aka the Pretty One. I am a Drow Paladin.
Ooh, starting out strong. All right, well, everyone, to give a quick recap, last episode, you all were attending Dr. Leon Vanderplin's debut of his Abyssal Spritzer, name still pending, unfortunately, while you were attacked by a cackle of gnoll raiders. You quickly repelled the raiders and sent one of them packing. However, just as Dr. Vanderplin was trying to make sure you all had a job offer from the local Adventurers Guild, you were approached by his mortal enemy, Aesclus, and told that he needed the help of you four in order to save the world. You accepted his proposal and were told that he had received a prophecy that the world was going to end, and the only way he could think to stop it was to gather the 8 sacred relics of magic and use them to cast a powerful wish spell to either prevent or reverse the damage of the prophecy. You went down into the Underdark to receive the first relic, and although you were able to retrieve it, you had to get out of the cathedral by facing down Mother Robinson and her horde of Quasit acolytes. You got through, but let's just say things were not exactly peachy with everyone else afterwards. And that's where we are now this morning, okay? We open up now to everyone waking up to not a gentle wake-up call, but rather a very, very loud one. You are all shook out of your beds as a rumbling bell pounds the walls and furniture. Each one leaves you shaking, though wide awake. A soft knock on the door follows, though you can't tell if it's the knock or your ears ringing that makes it so hard to hear. Sorry, Aesclus says. I should have warned you. The Gisserai bells are all synchronized to go off together, regardless of which plane they're on.
Yeah, don't worry, it reminds me of home.
Good. Unfortunately, I have no control over when they go or how loud they are, so you can't even expect them to be on time, let alone consistent. He motions out towards a cart in front of your rooms laden with eggs, grits, toast, and dried fruits, as well as a pitcher of coffee. Breakfast?
What is this brown liquid that is right there? Is that like poison or...?
Admittedly, some would say it tastes like it, but I assure you, it is not poison, my friend.
Okay. He kind of pours himself a cup of coffee. He takes a sip of it and then it's like, this tastes awful. This is absolutely miserable.
Izzy grabs a piece of eggs as that's one of his favorite foods, and it's absolutely disgusting. His taste palate is too advanced. And he just picks up a pile of dried fruit and eats on that.
All right.
I just look at them all eating and just like, that must be nice.
Can
Oh,
you
wow.
eat? Is it just like not the thing that the Warforged can do, or?
No, this food is disgusting. That's why he doesn't want it.
Oh, okay.
Hey, I tried my hardest.
Oh,
I'm a
no,
prophet, not a cook.
No, this coffee is miserable. I love it. And he kind of takes another sip of it.
I mean, the fruit is really good.
All right, fine. Well, while I was preparing breakfast, something occurred to me. Izzy, Moldavite, this isn't the first time the gnolls have attacked a group near the Kalian border, right?
I believe not. There's been multiple attacks from what I've heard.
Yes, and they've been increasing rapidly.
I thought of like one before, but...
For a little bit of extra backstory, back during the fall of the cult, Kalia was pretty much isolated and unable to communicate with any of its neighbors, as well as most people outside of the city of Pishao. Most of the survivors either immigrated into the Empire's interior, annexed their land into the border, or have remained isolated and virtually excommunicated because of the rampant pollution and tectonic shifts caused by the cult's activities. While everyone certainly wanted to help find more stragglers and displaced peoples. The needs of those already within the Empire soon forced the country's leaders to prioritize. As of now, only the Vanderplins and a few leaders in the Adventurers Guild have continued to send out search and rescue missions in the past 5 or so years. But even then, it's only been a few at a time. The Adventurers Guild has to put out extremely high bounties and ranks for these. And Izzy, your family does it maybe once or twice a year. And your mom retired from doing it herself 10 years ago after the last one nearly broke her leg. In fact, part of this lack of support for outside of the Empire has actually been because of the gnolls. Over the past 15 to 20 years or so, they've been quietly managing to spread out throughout the wastelands and claim ownership of any and all unoccupied territories. It's continued to be a hotly debated subject for many still living near the border, since gnoll attacks on farmers and ranchers have hung in the air as a real, if still rare, occurrence. That is until the last 3 months. Moldavite, you specifically know from the grapevine that the guild search and rescue missions have not been returning as frequently due to gnoll ambushes. And each time one does return, it's the exact same problem. The guild members that do return have horrible stories about what happened, with many of their dead being either stripped of all their possessions, doused in salt, and left outside to rot in the sun. It is not an easy sight whenever they are attacked by the gnolls.
Yes, it's a quite brutal thing what I've heard. The Adventurers Guild has tried to send many people out there, but they have, as we say, been brutally tortured and murdered.
Alright. Anyone else? Anyone else have experience with the gnolls?
From what knowledge I have gathered in my years of travel, I know that they are hyena humanoids, but they are descended from a demon prince called Yeenoghu, or however you wish to spell it. So, the hierarchy is divided into the smaller groups, like the one we fought, which are called cackles. Larger groups that are all under a sort of lord are called packs, and then it's just the general populace of the gnoll people. So their leaders are usually decided through something called the Rite of Blood. I've run into a couple of them once or twice. That is all I've been able to find on them.
Alright. Well, that does raise the question. Regarding yesterday, did any of you see anything that would have been interpreted as provocative or insulting to the gnolls? Do you remember anything about something your father did, Izzy, or something that happened during the party that could have set them off? I'm just asking.
No.
My dad, anything he could have done, it couldn't have been intentional. Maybe it was their territory, but that doesn't give them the right to attack us.
Your dad does not seem the kind to actively provoke.
Exactly.
Then it's as I thought. Given the increased number of unprovoked attacks and their more erratic movement patterns, I think something has happened to the gnoll packs. And I think I know exactly what that something is. He motions for all of you to follow him out into the courtyard and begins pulling out a map from his bag.
Interesting.
He holds it up and clears it onto the small table in front of the statue, and it's a large map of Kalia with various colored X's scattered around the borders. Each of these X's marks a gnoll attack that has occurred within the last 6 months. According to the Gisirai hive mind, nearly half of these have occurred in the last 2. What I find most interesting are these. He points to a small cluster of violet X's near the exhibition site. Each of these attacks differs from others in 2 different ways. First, they were all within a week of each other, with survivors being able to identify or describe a handful of repeat attackers.
Can I make a investigation or perception check on this map?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go perception. That one's better. Ooh, 23.
Oof. You're able to quickly tell that many of these seem to have been organized or coordinated. According to the description notes he has on the side of it, each one was the exact same number of troops, and many of them shared similar descriptions. So not only are the gnoll attacks organized, but they seem to be done by the same people over and over again. Can't be certain, but the descriptions don't lie, are too similar to say that they're all unique, at least from what you have.
I kind of relay that to the rest of the group, and he kind of looks at it and goes, Well, from the looks of it, these have to be, from what everyone has said, these must look like coordinated. There must be a plan. These are not like regular just gnolls running out into the wild and, killing for sport. These are active, like, targeted attacks.
Aeschylus nods at that. Agreed. And more to that point is that in each example, the attacks were near total successors, managing to raise the villages and either drive out or execute all of the villagers. What makes these cases interesting are the locations. He then points to two specific cities on the map, Haverstorm and Traveler's Rest. Moldavite, you instantly recognize these points as a major rest point or small city in the Outer Kalian Empire. Both you and Izzy, you know that Haverstone in particular was one of the few cities that wasn't completely destroyed by the cults, and that afterwards it basically took on a very isolationist approach, building extremely high walls and doubling its guard power in order to keep out both gnolls and any potential raiders.
These gnolls, do they seem like they're like finishing the job of the cult, or like it takes a lot to be able to overpower a full garrison and get over walls if these are just like small groups of raiders?
Those can't possibly take down Haverstorm,
Yeah,
right?
That's a very powerful city. I've been there before. It's very, very brutal.
I mean, you never know. Like, I'm small, but I do a lot.
That's fair. You were very competent in that fight.
Oh, thank you.
Agreed. And initially I thought the same as you two. Until I interviewed a survivor. The woman was a sergeant from Haverstorm in charge of the stables. She and a few others bundled their families onto the horses and deserted before the gnolls attacked. Even a day later, she couldn't bring herself to describe what she saw from a distance. Plant roots, as thick and coarse as tree trunks, rupturing through the cobblestone streets and foundations. Clouds of dust, poisonous smoke, drifting into fortified positions and scattering troops before they suffocated. And worst of all, the animals. Hundreds, thousands even, all charging forward with an unquenchable bloodlust. It overwhelmed the units in a matter of minutes. By the time the gnolls arrived, half the soldiers were already dead or wounded. The rest were left, trapped like rats on a sinking ship.
Jeez.
Looks like they have a magician on their side.
This kind of magic is strong.
What can grant that kind of power?
Is it druidic magic? Although, I don't
Not
have to be powerful of a druid to do that.
Not quite. It seems druidic in nature, but I have a belief that it might be something else entirely. Think about it. This kind of magic is far beyond anything most natural casters can complete, especially given the fact that natural magic draws from the material world. You would literally have to kill thousands of trees to do something even remotely this powerful. Doesn't make sense. Unless, of course, it draws from a different energy source.
You
A
think
sword.
it's from a relic.
Do the gnolls have a relic?
Aeschylus grins. Exactly. Specifically, the Ring of the Wild Ones. It's said that it grants the user a direct connection to the Feywild itself, and allows them to summon its denizens at will.
What? I've heard of that before. The Entangled Conjure Animals spell, but they were never this powerful.
That's another reason why I suspect the ring. In addition to allowing unlimited access, it grants total control over anything it summons. Normally, when you cast a spell that summons an entity from another plane, it only happens if either A, the person being summoned consents to being under your control in the first place, or B, you make them bow to your will after they are summoned. The ring bypasses both of these and instantly transports them without consent or need of exactly that. They are simple and controlled slaves, completely bound by the ring's power.
How are we supposed to fight a power like that?
In truth, while the ring and the relics may grant greater abilities, they still rely ultimately on the user in order to be properly implemented.
So if we take out these caster, whoever has this ring, we can just wipe out the power at its source. And he kind of does like that thing where like you draw a line across your throat, just like if we kill him.
Exactly.
sounds a little easier said than done.
Yeah. You can very much summon, like, hordes of animals at his wheel.
Well, the good news is that I'm not asking yet that we find the ring itself, or specifically take it from them, at least directly. For now, I suggest that we go back to the exhibition site and start looking for clues.
How are we gonna get there?
I'm glad you asked. He guides you back outside of the church where a group of skeletons are drawing an intricate teleportation circle using ground chalk mixed with yellow ink. Say hello to my new assistants, courtesy of the Bones of Merkel.
This doesn't seem right.
Don't worry, Aeschylus assures you. They're completely under my control as long as I have the bone. The only caveat is that while I control them, they can only be given up to 3 commands at a time. So, at best, they can do simple commands for me, but they can't necessarily do anything more complicated than that. Alright? That's the good news. As you all draw towards the circle, you all follow him down, and he begins to direct the creation specifically as you all move down and see it.
Oh, that reminds me. Aeschylus hands the stone over to Izzy. Izzy, you recognize this as a sending stone, a small two-way communication item that allows for those carrying matching stones to talk anywhere on the same plane of existence. Think of them as long-distance two-way radios or walkie-talkies. Alara, I checked through my drow tomb last night and found these. Aeschylus holds up and tries to give you a pair of ugly sunglasses. These are underglasses. They're used to help people with sunlight sensitivity see in the daytime. I hope they come in handy. Alara, you get a good look at these glasses, and they are anything but pretty. Their frame is a bland licorice black, while the lenses are a putrid purple with yellow-tinged edges. Tell me, what exactly is your reaction to being handed these Ray-Ban-looking fugly glasses?
Oh, thanks, Aesky. They're so cute.
Well, I'm glad someone likes them. Could you put them on for me? I want to make sure they fit.
Sure. I put them on very hesitantly.
Well, as soon as you slip them on, the frame bends and begins to wrap around your head. The temples snake their way around your hair into the curve of your ear to keep their place without feeling too constrictive. Likewise, the frame and bridge follow suit, giving you a clear view, but not constricting or feeling like they're even on your head in the first place. And what a view it is. Up until this point, you've had to squint to see anything out in sunlight. Now, you can see everything in crisp, clear color.
Whoa, well, Moldavite, you're much uglier in person. I will say that. I will say that.
What does that mean, even?
Well, I do have these new prescription glasses. Don't I look cool? Tell me I look cool.
Cool is a word that I could say for that, but I don't know that it would be the exact word I would say for that.
Stop beating around the bush. I'm sorry, Lara. I know these are not stylish, but they're the best I can do on short notice. I'm just glad they work.
Well, thank you, Aesky. Much appreciated.
You're welcome, Alara.
As you step into the circle, the portal once more opens as you begin to see the image of the temple become obscured, fade, and then be replaced by a forest glen and a trail leading southwards. The forest is quiet this morning. A few birds call out while a badger saunters across the path, but little else is active today. Suddenly, the stone in Izzy's pocket crackles to life with Aeschylus' voice calling out, Aeschylus to team. Aeschylus to team. Do you copy?
Yes,
we can hear you.
we're all here.
Good. I've sent you to a druid circle not far from the village of Talhelm. If you take the path, you can get there in about 5 to 10 minutes. I suggest you start your search there, then move on to the exhibition site. As you all go through the forest, what all do you see or do?
I'm just gonna be looking at nature, just looking around as I walk, just admiring it, enjoying myself.
I see some little animals scampering through the trees, wondering what they were.
I break up a fight between two squirrels fighting over some nuts.
I think Moldavite, for a moment, is like keeping an eye out for gnolls or like any sort of danger, but then gets immediately distracted when he sees like a small little grove and like a babbling brook, just absolutely transfixed by like the beauty of this world.
Well, right, keep up.
No, but look, these are little squirrel. He's
Nah,
running.
nah,
No, he's running. Look
let
at
the
him.
squirrel be. Let the squirrel be.
Hey, I lived in the astral plane for basically my whole life, but now I get to see the extreme beauty of this place. I want to see squirrels run. Don't let me watch the squirrel run. His name is Jimmy.
And the squirrel's gone.
You frightened Jimmy.
Nice. Well, a few minutes later, you arrive at the village, though you have a very hard time realizing it at first. As you all move in to look around, you see various paths leading up to giant oak and birch trees, but no actual houses. That is, until you see a large, gray-haired person carrying a fishing rod step out of one of the trees, pause when he immediately sees you on his front porch, turn around, and go back inside.
Did y'all see that? Was that just me?
No, yeah, that was
Okay.
sus. That was sus for sure.
Hello? Hello? Is anyone there?
All right. I take it, Moldavite, you go up and knock on the door?
Yeah, I just kind of go like knock on the tree, like, hello? Where are we? Are you the people we are supposed to protect?
Moldavite, I don't think we should be disturbing them.
Yeah, maybe don't try to scare them.
Well, he actually does open the door a little bit and looks outside and says, "Oh, hello. Can I help you?" This person is a furbark, which are described as large, muscular cowfolk. They have long, pointy ears and somewhat flat, large noses with very gray/clammy skin that seems to blend very well into the nature and like foliage around them. They're not quite Minotaur-esque, but they definitely seem related to them. Unlike Minotaurs, most of Furball culture is centered around nature and pacifist lifestyles. They have a very strong familiar bond between themselves and a rich history of owning, cultivating, and preserving land while remaining as close to nature as possible. After the disaster, many of the villages were left destroyed, forcing the Furbolg to migrate inward to escape the pollution. However, many have now returned to their land and plan to do all they can to reclaim and heal their homes to once more fulfill their duties as protectors of nature. However, the Furbolg in front of you seems very apprehensive about you being here. "I'm sorry, but I don't think we're able to take visitors today. My name is Greason. What can I help you with?"
How tall would you say the
Furbolg is between 7 to 8 feet tall.
Oh, never
but
mind.
Very, very,
Oh,
very tall.
I'm looking up my...
Hello.
I'll go close up to him with a friendly little smile and say, "I'm Izzy, nice to meet you."
Nice to meet you, Izzy. I would invite you in, but unfortunately we are trying to take care of a few things inside. You peer inside and you glimpse various weapons and armor lying about. A wooden shield and spear, a short bow and quiver of patchwork arrows, and you see his wife pulling out what seems to be a poorly made giant crossbow.
That's fine, you don't have to live in your home. It is your house after all. We were just stopping by and had a few questions.
Well, I'll try to answer them quickly, but I only have a few minutes. We're not trying to be rude, but it's just that... Sorry, what with the recent gnoll attack, everyone's afraid that we'll be next. Matter of fact, we saw a few of them not far from here a few weeks ago.
Yes, yeah, we had questions about the gnoll attack. Do you have any idea or clue as to why they attacked here of all places?
No, I'm sorry, I couldn't tell you the first thing about it. As a matter of fact, it's hard to tell where a gnoll usually is. No, wait, I think there might be something to know around here. The Moody clan tends to let their herds run into Sycamore's cabbage farm every now and then. Nearly ate the poor man out of house and harvest.
Yeah.
We've tried talking to them before, even setting up fences. Every time they do, the gnolls say it's disrespectful to the herds and that we're violating the natural order. Imagine, a furball disrespecting nature. He holds up his hands in indignation to accent his point. Eventually, we just have to accept that we couldn't do anything and let them have the field. If they start to attack us like this anymore, we may just have to start attacking back. He takes a moment to stand up to his full height, looking out towards the tree line in the direction of the wilderness. This land was ours once. Still is. We won't give it up for anyone. If it's the fight they want, then gosh darn it, it's a fight we'll give them.
If you go for their legs, that will incapacitate them momentarily, and then you can either run away or you can get more shots off on them. Just a little bit of technical advice.
His eyes go a little bit wide and set at this and says, thank you, but I think I'll just keep them at a distance. Bye. And he immediately closes the door on you. Unfortunately, this one person seems done, but would you like to check out any of the other houses?
Yeah, let's keep going down the path. You can't be the only person in town.
Yeah.
Should have asked directions to the plan.
I'm gonna go ahead of the party. Go
Right.
first.
I follow him.
In that case, everyone also roll me some perception checks, if that's all right.
Natural 20.
Nice.
12.
Look at this. Look at this. You see what that is?
Not one.
You see what that is?
No.
You see what that is?
Not 20, not 1.
You know
Nice.
what? Hopefully you
Perfectly
perceive that. I
balanced.
don't. I'm
Alright.
still in shock of him slamming the door in my face.
You see another 2 squirrels.
All right. We'll start with Goatee. Goatee, as you're making it around the village, by the time you make it past the 5th tree house, you actually notice a stout, motherly-looking furball looking out into the shutters of one of them and noticing you. As soon as she spots you looking at her, she's a little taken aback, but closes the curtain, moves towards the door, and then opens it. Their expression softens as they get a look at all 4 of you, and they tell you, all right, sorry to stare, but can I offer you some tea, everyone? And she motions for you to follow her inside her larger house.
Can we make an insight check real quick, just to make sure I trust her?
Okay, go ahead.
That is a 13.
All right, you immediately tell that she means you no harm. From what you can tell from her garb, she seems to be the druid in charge of the village.
Okay.
Right?
I would love some tea if I could drink.
So
Unless someone
bad.
comes to get me,
No,
I'm still playing with the squirrels.
Easy tea.
Here I come. Alright. Finally, I'm no longer that one. Two now.
She immediately makes you all a quick pot while you begin to smell acorn stew bubbling over the fireplace. What brings you all out here into Tel El?
We are looking for the careful gnolls that kept our friend and just trying to figure out what's going on with those to make sure they can't hurt anyone else.
You're with the Adventurers Guild, aren't you?
Yes. Not official member yet, but we're getting there.
She shakes her head. Now they're sending us trainees.
I highly disagree with the term trainee. I was a very decorated soldier, very tact Asian, but now I'm with the Adventurers Guild.
I'm sorry, but I don't think you should be looking for the gnolls that attacked around here, especially after what happened at the Vanderplen party. You won't find anything out here, especially with the Modi so close.
What? I'm gonna ask her. Well, what is? We've heard the term muddy before. Could you please elaborate on it?
Sure, she says. The Modi are shepherds, like us, but they don't keep cattle. At least, not like any Ivers. Giant beasts of creatures. But, for their credit, they're the only pack that seems to actually be wanting to communicate with us, or at the very least, don't always show their fangs when things don't go their way. But recently, I've hardly been seeing anything of them. Well, sorry to waste your time, but I'm afraid you're going to have to leave now, please.
Wait, can you point us the direction to Sycamore's farm?
No, I'm afraid not. I'm sorry. Besides, by now they wouldn't be anywhere near here. The herds themselves don't come back to a place more than twice a year, and they were here less than a month ago. You wouldn't find them there.
Thanks anyway.
Yes.
Wait. Could we at least take some of that stew to go?
Yes, it tastes. It smells really good.
She smiles and says, "Of course." And she quickly dishes out each of you a small serving in a collapsible wooden bowl for you each to take.
Thank you.
But as you leave, she takes hold of your sleeve. Izzy?
Before we leave, I'm gonna give her 2 gold coins for. Thank you so much for everything you've given us.
She immediately tries to give them back, saying, No, please. It's my pleasure to help you. I only wish I could do more.
Nope, you are getting the money.
She looks at everyone and takes it and says, Okay. A word of caution, then. If you hear the sounds of elephants, you run like a soul out of the 9 hells. All right.
As Moldvite's leaving, he kind of scoffs under his breath, like, trainee. No trainee.
I chuckle at that.
He's deeply offended.
Alara's patting him on the shoulder. It's okay, Moldavite.
It's okay. I don't think you're a trainee.
Decorated soldier. Alright. I'm gonna, like, kind of...
Let's head out to the exhibition site. And I think
This sounds
we've
good.
spend enough time here.
It seems good.
Well, back at the exhibition site, much of the debris and carnage of the fight has been cleaned up by Dr. Vanderplin and Roman. This will make finding clues difficult, but not impossible. Everyone either make me nature, investigation, or survival checks.
Which one's my best?
Nature or survival?
I'm gonna go nature. Actually, investigation. I'll go investigation. Oh god, okay. I'm gonna add a side bolster knack to that.
16.
11.
16 for what?
Survival.
Oh man, that's terrible.
11 for investigation.
All right.
13 for investigation.
All right. Anybody rolling nature?
11 for nature.
All right. In quick succession, starting with Moldavite. With you and Alara's help, you're able to get a few of the arrows, or at least a couple intact ones, from where the gnolls were firing at. You get one out of a tree and notice very quickly 2 really big things about these arrows that are different from normal arrows. First off, you notice very quickly that these are not the traditional pixie or stem style of arrows. Instead, they're notched and serrated. This indicates 2 things. First, these arrows were meant to not just kill, but hurt. A lot. Second, the head itself is crafted using obsidian, a hard yet difficult substance that is next to impossible to find in the wastelands, at least on the surface. It must have been mined somewhere. Goatee, with your survival check, you are able to quickly start making movement towards the top of the cliffside and begin to notice the tracks that lead upwards past the mountain as you go forward. All right? Izzy, while you're helping him look, you are able to notice that the gnoll tracks have a distinct canine shape to them, 4 clawed toes. The only thing that you find that's different about them is that, for some reason, one set of tracks seems to have longer claws than the others. You can't tell who, just know that one of them is a little bit longer. Whereas Goatee, by the time everyone makes it up to the cliffside, you're able to track most of the stragglers' footprints somewhat well until you get to a wide stone plateau. However, after a few more minutes, you're able to spot the imprint of his left foot mark in a small puddle of mud, followed by a trail of left paw prints leading up a hidden but well-worn path. It seems you found a trail to go for.
Found the trail.
Not only were these arrows mine, well, not only were these arrows specifically made to hurt, but this is also obsidian, which means this was mined somewhere. We don't know where. Possibly they got these from somebody, but actually, would I know if the gnolls had ability to like mine?
Well, based on what you were just told by the furbolgs, as well as what information OT knows, you would know that that is very unusual. Gnolls are very much naturalists. They are against industrialization. They are against modernity. So mining is something they do not usually do because they see that as a form of controlling nature or destroying it for one's own personal benefits. That's what makes this so strange, is that despite the fact that this is a rare stone, there are at least a dozen or so obsidian arrows in this vicinity, which makes no sense that they would have access to them. Regardless, your search first leads you past a gaunt and foliage-free forest. Many of the trees stand fractured or split open, as if the abyssal scars had torn them all apart. Eventually, the tall oaks give way to ashen gracelands and the occasional sickly green bramble bush. Despite the damage, the bushes seem to have thrived. Many reach up to 10 feet tall and span for dozens of crisscrossed yards. After an hour, the trail runs code in front of a small wooden glen. The paw prints are too old to make out from a half dozen or so newer tracks that seem to have come across this area recently. At first, they seem to be ordinary deer tracks, but looking closer, you realize these went from a deer. If they were, the animal who made them would be at least 10 feet long and 8 feet tall. That raises another question. The deer tracks may be you, but only by a half day at most. That means that the hunter and the deer, if it is a deer, could have been within distance of each other or could have constantly come in contact with each other. Why would a deer or any animal of prey come anywhere near this place, much less stay, if it knew that gnolls were here? But before you can actually answer that question, you begin to see the bushes themselves begin to rumble and shake. Soon, strange calls start to come out from the actual bush area. Quiet crow call, the hiss and rattle of a diamondback. Then, a shriek of cat calls, complemented against a baying hyena laugh. The bramble bush in front of you begins to shake. Finally, you hear it. The sound of a high-pitched elephant call as a horrid monster bursts through the bushes.
We need to go.
Oh, that's the elephant. Okay.
Okay, that's what they
I
meant
was
by the
confused
elephant.
of what the sound be like, but let's get out of here.
With the body of a hyena, the hind legs of an elk, and a terrifying head of a Jack Russell Terrier, the monster raises its jowls to release a second elephant call. As it does, its nose extends into a trunk and its ears expand outwards to the uncanny resemblance of an elephant's head.
Ew.
I can't even. Izzy's just disgusted at this freak of nature.
I'm trying to think of like the horrifying head of a Jack Russell Terrier, but it's only like the cutest images coming to my head.
I can't even picture this.
3 more of its kin appear from the branches, chomping at the bit right before they begin to charge right at you. Everyone, roll me initiative.
Oh, ooh. Are we on a cliff top? Are we on a cliff top?
Yeah, for now.
Okay. Ooh, for now. Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's okay. We according to Star
Let's
Wars.
hide up here. Let's get together.
According to Star Wars, we're okay because we have the high ground.
Yeah. I'm gonna camp the cliff.
Can they climb the cliffs?
Oh no.
You don't know yet,
What did you even
unfortunately.
think of that? Oh no.
I like to imagine, like, we're on the cliffs, we're fine.
Oh no.
I'm just spam fireball. Oh no!
Oh no.
We're dead.
Yeah.
Ooh, 19.
Please.
12.
Take these dice back. I don't want them. I don't want to see this dice anymore.
What'd you get?
And now 1, but I have 2
Plus.
plus 2, so 3.
Alright.
5.
Alright.
This dice is cursed.
Here,
Never.
here, I gave you one of mine. That's
Yes,
the lucky
thank you.
one.
Thank you. Because no
Alright.
way.
In that case, Alara, you're going first. You're seeing
Oh,
these
God.
giant hyena creatures charging right towards you. What do you do?
As all the men are cowering in the back, I step forward.
Run right now.
I step forward and I will shoot my crossbow at the closest enemy I see.
Go ahead.
17.
17 will hit.
7 damage.
All right, you do 7 damage against this one beast, and as soon as it does, and it takes it on its shoulder, its face immediately morphs. This time, its nose narrows, its fur goes black and white, and it immediately morphs into a badger's head.
Whoa.
Ew.
This thing is angry, and it's starting to charge right at you as the others morph into badger heads as well. Goatee, you're up.
I'll just go no, just no, and I'm gonna use my light crossbow and just fire a bolt against it. Like no, dirty 20.
That hits.
Nine piercing damage.
All right. As your hand bolt immediately leaves your arm and attacks, the cybernetic swarm surrounds this beast and starts gnawing away at its backside. However, it's now their turn. Immediately after this happens, the giant creature known as a Lucrata is going to go ahead and blinding rage charge up the mountainside and immediately start attacking you two. He's going to take one bite attack against Alera, and then he's going to try to kick Goatee. Thanks.
I like to imagine like, yes, he's going for Alera, and then just a kick.
Yeah. 7 on the bite for Lara.
No.
No.
That ain't hitting me.
Now for the hoofs attack. Oof, 19.
Yeah, that is gonna hit.
All right. That's going to be 8 points damage. And immediately afterwards, it's going to kick, and as a bonus action, jump off the cliff.
What?
Wait, do I get an attack opportunity on it?
Nope, it
Dang it.
is able to take a kicking retreat, which means it can, as a bonus action, disengage and avoid any opportunity attacks. Then the other 3 are going to go up as well. One of them is going to go ahead and take a second bite attack against Goatee. It misses with a 8, and then it's going to take another hooves attack against you. But this one misses as well with a 5. All right. The Lucrata number 3 is going to now go up to the hill, and it is going to try to bite at Moldavite and kick Alera. Here, a 10 to hit Alera and an 11 to hit Moldavite.
Miss.
Miss.
All right, perfect. And then the final one is going to basically come up, and right now it is going to hold its action, meaning it won't do anything until it chooses to for now. Meantime, Moldavite, it's your turn. Unfortunately, I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. 12.
All right, 12. Despite these creatures smelling absolutely god-awful, they smell like a mix between methane gas and rancid eggs. You're able to stomach your disgust and continue going forward. What do you do this turn?
Okay, so Alera's within 5 feet, so I get sneak attack no matter what, so I'm going to take attack and bonus action with the side blades. So, ooh, okay, that's a 18 and a 10.
The 18 will hit, but the 10 will not.
Okay. So for the first attack, well that's a 1, so that's 6 plus 10 damage.
All right, you splash into this creature, and immediately afterwards, it's going to use its reaction to try to bite you. All right?
Crap.
Let's see if it hits. That's going to be a 12.
Miss.
All right, and then it's going to try to bonus action kick you.
What?
And that is going to miss with a 13. Correct?
Okay.
All right.
13. Jeremy Crawford, why'd you make this thing?
All right. Now we're going to go to Izzy. I need you, since you're within 5 feet of them, go ahead and make me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. 16.
16 passes. You are able to get over the smell relatively quickly, and you are able to go ahead and go about your business.
Okay. Isn't touch range 5 feet?
Yep.
Okay, I'm not 5 feet of one of them. This is get mage on them. Wait, am I?
You can move between each other, I think.
Not.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see. Am I within 5 feet of the other one? No, that's 10. Well, I guess literally take one step,
Go
and
ahead.
I'm gonna use inflicting wounds, and I'm gonna twin spell that.
Nice. You're going to target the 2 Lucratas in front of you?
Yes.
Gotcha. Roll me for the first one and then the second.
That's 13.
A 13 misses just barely. Sorry.
Wait. Actually, no. I'm gonna use favor of the gods.
All right.
Oh.
I'm gonna use favor of the gods. No.
Gotcha. Use your favor of the gods.
Izzy is mad. Izzy wants to hit something. They've done too much. I mean, you roll 2d4s. Oh, that's a 4.
All right.
And that's a 5, so 5 added to that, 18.
Yeah, you only needed 1 extra point, so you definitely hit the first time. Now roll me for the second attack.
Please. 16.
16 hits. Both of them hit. Go ahead and roll me damage for each of them.
Alright, 3d2s. Ooh, 27 damage.
Ooh. First one takes 27 damage. Ouch.
The second one, let's roll. Okay, 11.
11 points of damage to the second one. Gotcha. As you just twin spell this inflict wound spell, each one of them gets taken aback by this necrotic energy pulsing from you into them, but if anything, it only seems to make them angrier.
Crap.
As we go to the top of the order for round 2, Alera, it's your turn. I need you to first make me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, yeah.
Was that 19? 21.
That passes. You are also able to get over the stench. What do you want to do this turn? You got 2 in front of you, 1 to the side, and 1 that just jumped off the cliff.
Oh gosh.
Finish the one next to hit 27. Should be right.
I'm gonna use the rapier then for that.
All right.
I'll help out Izzy and slash at that one. 17.
All right, 17 will hit.
11 damage.
All right, 11 points damage. That's going to be a sizable amount of damage done to this creature. As we now go on to Goatee, it's your turn. You've got 2 of them up in front of you, 1 to the south and 1 to the north. What are you going to do?
No, maybe we've been too hard. They are animals, right?
Kill one of them, the rest of them retreat. That's a nice thing we can do for them.
Can I try and... Is there one that we have not touched near me? Like, that we've just not done any damage to?
Yeah, the one to the south of you actually hasn't been hit yet.
Can I try and do an animal check on it to...
All right.
see if it can not kill us?
Yes, but since you've already attacked its brethren, you'll have to roll it with disadvantage. Unfortunately, with a 6, you are not able to calm it down. However, going on to its turn, let's see here. 2 of them are going to go ahead and they are going to, just this turn, they aren't going to bite. Instead, they're simply going to kick you both. So, Izzy, you get kicked. Oof. Does a 11 hit?
No.
All right. And then the second one is go ahead and try to kick Alera as well. Natural 1 misses. All right. But they are then going to immediately jump off the cliff themselves and try to get away from you two. And then number 3, they aren't going to attack you, Goatee. However, they are going to charge out and immediately go after Izzy instead. Oof. 15.
That hits.
They're going to try to bite you first for 12 damage.
Yeah, he's dying. He's dying.
All right.
Actually, in no way, in response to that, I'm going to use Hellish Rebuke.
All right.
In a way.
Can you read me that description, please?
Yes, I can cast it as a second level spell as a reaction or as a response to being damaged by a creature within 60 feet that I can see.
All right. I'm going to roll a dexterity saving throw then. They fail. With a 7.
8, 12 damage.
All right. You do 12 damage to this Lucrata, who immediately tries to jump off the mountain as soon as that happens in a pure panic. As they all begin to retreat away from you, what do you all do?
I'm just gonna stop everybody from like, guys. I think if we stop attacking them, we've scared them enough that they're just gonna let us they're just gonna back away. I think we've hurt them enough that they understand that we are dangerous and should not be trifled with. Hopefully.
Whatever you say.
If they do try attacking again, then it's their fault. So,
Yeah, they are ugly, but I don't think they deserve for us to just slaughter them, you know?
Yeah, they were swinging like wild creatures, like they were afraid. They missed a lot. I'm letting go.
Yep. Well, as this is happening, you look behind you to notice very quickly that a giant bush immediately goes up behind you, and immediately afterwards, a spectral unicorn bursts through that bush and begins just raising its hind legs around each and every one of you. You then see a gnoll shepherd with a gnarled white staff come out. Their brown and black fur is on edge as their tail is fully frizzled and at the ready. What the hell do you think you're doing? You think you can attack my cousins and get away with it, you jerks?
What do you mean by cousin?
They point around to all of the Lukrada around them. These are my cousins, the one you all viciously attacked.
Well, your cousins attacked us.
Yeah, they kind of attacked us first.
Well, what did you expect them to do? Walk up with a basket of snacks and make small talk about cabbages?
Yes.
They look absolutely incredulous at you, Izzy, and say, I swear, you Kalian are a bunch of bald-faced idiots. First you abandoned the land because it was uninhabitable wasteland, and you come back and are angry that everything has moved on without you, and they don't remember that you used to live there. They point to the Lukrada's faces, which have morphed back into their Jack Russell forms. Look at this face. Those watery little eyes. That soft nose. These floppy jowls. Does this look like the face of a killer?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the face is morph, so...
It was an elephant face when it tried to kill us.
Yeah, and then like a badger at one
And
point.
like a badger, yes.
Yeah.
Is that normal?
Yes, that is normal. A Lukrada has many faces depending on the situation. It's how they're able to mimic the sounds that they hear. But the point is, a Lukrada only shows their dog face when they feel safe around others. Otherwise, they'll just use another one they have. Did they show you their dog face at any point?
At one point, yes, but...
Yeah.
A little bit. It was dog face and then it turned into elephant.
I was too busy being distracted by the giant claws and teeth coming at me, you know.
And then they kicked me.
And then the jumping off the hill.
And then did, hit me for a lot. I'm kind of sore over here, back's hurting, ribs kind of broke.
Yeah, they were kind of mean, so.
They were very mean.
They shake their head and say, all right. I guess they just wanted to say hello and they got a little overenthusiastic. Well, what do you expect from a couple of babies anyway?
Those are babies?
Yes. The adults are way bigger.
You should put a sign up. Beware.
Wait, how big are they?
They ignore that comment and decide to ask instead, what are you folks doing out here anyway? You passed the Kalian border over an hour ago. There's nothing out here you'd be interested in.
We're just, looking around. Like, let me make a deception check on that.
I'm gonna insight check this gnoll.
Okay.
Oh, a 24.
All right, 24.
That's a 7.
All right, starting with the first roll. As soon as Surebean hears you say you're just looking around, they immediately don't bite for goatee. However, you're able to read from the situation, Moldavite, that right now this gnoll is more focused on keeping the Lukradas safe than actually attacking you. Recall that the giant unicorn that's still around you, you see it float down in front of the Lukrada as they begin to mutter small healing spells, and the Lukrada all seem to be getting better as a result. It seems very clear that while they definitely seemed threatening, at no point has this gnoll actually attacked or threatened to attack any of you. They've been playing very defensively so far. I'll ask again. Please, don't lie. What are you doing out here?
We're researching the attack by the gnolls, a small cackle that attacked the exhibition of elk souls. No, what was the stupid little name for it again?
Don't ask me.
Some kind of spritzer, Febreze thingy.
You say that the gnoll's face begins to pale as their fur flattens. Their ears, however, begin to raise. and flitter back and forth. What do you mean? There was an attack yesterday. I didn't hear anything about this, and I know no one else did either.
There was a bunch of them. They had 4 paws and just bows, swords, just lots of shouting.
How about you come with us and see the sight for yourself if you think we're lying?
What did their paws look like?
Yes, of course. There were these long claw marks and long fingernails as if a beast had ran through.
When you say that, they begin to pant and pace in abject frustration, causing the Lukrata to begin watching them as they just immediately start circling around, wondering what the heck is going on. No. This isn't happening. They promised they weren't going to go on a crusade. They looked at the leader and told that to their faces. What are they talking about? They promised us. Oh, Yeenoghu's flaming flu sack. Those idiots went through with it.
Crusade?
They look up to you and say, all right, you're probably going to want to come down here quickly, but I know who attacked you, I think. But I promise you, this was just a big misunderstanding. Okay? Look, I got to get these 4 back to my pack. Baby cousins can't see in the dark, and they don't know any better. So we need to get them home before they hurt themselves even more.
Well, I was kind of serious about my rib being broken. I can't make it down this cliff.
How can we trust you?
Yeah.
You can't, but I promise you that if you scratch my belly, I will try to scratch yours.
He's like, will you shake on it?
We don't shake.
Can you start with a healing potion, please? I'm really short.
They immediately look up to you, and they immediately look up to the trailhead and resummon the unicorn spirits, and you instantly feel yourselves healing as they summon a unicorn healing spirits. What this is they cast a spell, Healing Spirit, which will give you all the ability to heal 1d6 up to 4 times, so 46 of healing points, plus
6 hit points.
I'm just kidding.
This character is a level 6 Circle of Shepherds Druid. What this means is that while they have their unicorn spirit out, they can add their level to any healing spell they cast.
Whoa, that was some strong magic, you know? Well, I have no reason not to trust you anymore.
I have to shake on it to trust you.
they choose to ignore you and say, "Name's Surebean. What are your names?"
Moldavite.
I am Bootsy.
I'm Izzy.
I'm Alara.
All right, let's get going. We're burning daylight, and we need to get my cousins back to their cackle. Surebean pats one of the Lukrata's sides. Who's first?
What?
You're going to ride them, of course. I can keep up with these little kids, no problem. But you can't guide a cousin unless someone's giving them directions. It's easy. They demonstrate it by jumping up and mounting the Lukrata, who doesn't so much as grunt. All you need to do is get a good grip and a quicker pair of feet to guide them. I'll show you how.
Me first.
All right, they jump down. Go ahead and make me an animal handling check, Izzy.
I also jump on one of these things. Ooh. 17. 19.
13.
All right. With a 19, you are able to quickly get on top of your Mount Moldavite, and they quickly settle into you. At first, it seems a little apprehensive and starts shaking, but as soon as it gets used to your weight, it settles down and just seems attentive and waiting for you to do something. Meantime, Izzy, unfortunately, with a 13, as soon as you get on, the Lukrata in question immediately begins trying to bite its tail, and that unfortunately flings you off of it.
I laugh on the ground and
Yeah.
Izzy. That was fun again.
I'm gonna do my own ammo check again on it. That's a 22.
Can I go again? Yes,
Surebean laughs as they help Izzy up. Well, that was a good first try. The trick is to make sure they trust you to ride them. Remember, you adapt to their needs first, not the other way around. You can't tame nature, only adapt to it. Once a cousin feels comfortable with you, they'll carry you to the end of the abyss. And with a 22 goatee, you were able to also get onto your Crota and quickly establish yourself with almost mechanical precision.
Alera walks up to it, to the little animal dog puppy thing, sniffs it a little, asks, do these things come with air fresheners before we go, or...
What? You don't like the good natural musk of a newborn baby? It's amazing. They smell the exact same as they're from the day they're born to the day they die. It's perfect.
Oh, that's really unfortunate, but okay. Alera attempts to jump up.
Oh no.
11.
Mine's an
11.
81, so-
Unfortunately, you get bucked yourself. This one just sits and you slide off.
Well,
Yep. Well, this time, Surebean looks around and decides to give a quick tap towards the Crota and force them up, and they decide to hold them steady, saying, try one more time. One more roll, this time with advantage.
19.
With the 19, you're able to get on, and this time, their legs stay firm as they get used to you. Izzy,
Okay.
your turn again.
All right.
Once more, go ahead and roll with advantage,
All right.
as Surebean helps you out.
17.
17. You're able to get on this time, and you're able to quickly keep the tail down, which allows you to successfully keep the tackle under control. Surebean looks around and says, all right, good job, everybody. They scratch the lead Lucrata's ears, gives you all a quick nod, and sets off on a brisk trot southeast. As you all make your way down south, with Surebean leading you down, you begin to see quite a few interesting sights and looks around here as you begin to move, including more bushes, a few diluted but still relatively clean-looking streams, and lots of grasslands. It seems so far that the small plant life has been recovering the quickest since the cult's activities, and it seems to be finally coming back a little bit. Halfway through, Surebean decides to ask a few quick questions to you all. So, besides the attack recently, what else brings you out here?
Looking around. Myself, I've never been in this part of the world, so this is all brand new to me.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I'm glad this is the first time you've seen all this, so that's good. By any chance, how are the furball doing?
Skittish. Like, a little shaken up.
I think skittish would be the right word, yes.
I can't exactly blame them, but they kind of brought this on themselves, to be honest. Look, I get what they're going for personally, and I think it's fine. If you respect nature and you're willing to do everything you can to keep it safe, fine, but I'm sorry, they're all a bunch of sellouts. Just because they decide to sit down in one location for a couple generations doesn't mean they automatically own it. That's not how nature works. You can't own anything, really. You have to respect it, because at the end of the day, when you're gone and your family's gone, nature moves on without you, all right? I'm not saying you can't take care of a certain part of land all by yourself, but if you leave, don't expect it to remember you.
Dang, that's deep.
Yeah. I'm willing to bet since you talked to them, they probably told you about that cabbage incident, didn't they?
No.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Well, look, I was there, and I can tell you right now, they exaggerated. It wasn't... Okay, yes, they did break down a fence. And yes, we did get them out of some barbed wire. But, come on. They were just trying to get to the cabbages. The harvest and the crops have been barely growing as it is, enough to feed all of us, let alone our poor cousins. So, you can't exactly expect them to completely be in control of yourself. And it's not like we're in charge of them. We just watch over them and make sure they don't hurt themselves. It's our job as the gnolls to hunt, but not subjugate. Why should we have to be in charge of everything? We protect. But at the end of the day, it's the job of every animal to take care of itself without impeding the lives of the others. No one has the right to do that. That's the problem with property in the first place. It binds you to a single spot, forcing you to miss out on what the world can offer. It's trading away freedom for a false sense of comfort.
It is one thing that I can agree with. I very much love the complete natural beauty of this world.
Yeah? Well, stick around, you might be able to join it. Assuming, of course, you don't get your neck broken in the next day or so. They chuckle and keep moving forward.
It was joke, right?
Oh.
I believe so, Trey.
Izzy put his hand over his mouth as he holds in the laugh.
Don't listen to him, Moldavite.
Moldavite just goes to their full height, and I'm making it. Can I make an intimidation check?
Go ahead.
Okay. Cool.
Oh wow!
Hold on, Cyborg, your knack. Dang it. Okay. That is a 13. He kind of goes to his full height and was like, glorified dishwasher.
Well, as you do that, unfortunately, you almost lose your balance while on the Lucrata, forcing you to actually hunch down even further as you're just desperately trying to hang on at this point. However, as you keep moving forward, a couple hours later, you are forced to stop in front of a small, roaring, rocky river spilling down into a short waterfall. Surebean stops, panting, and looks over the cliffside. All right, they say, let's eat. They pull out a half-dozen small berries and set them on a cloth tarp. Think you can get us some grubs, folks? Or you got anything to eat?
I can go out and hunt, possibly.
I'm eating this good soup from earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know
Oh, yeah, we got
guys.
the soup. Crap.
This acorn stew?
This
I
is way
think
better than their
so.
breakfast. Way better.
They look over the soup, sniff it somewhat doubtfully, but then pull out their own pouch filled with herbs and starts making some seasoning. I can make this work, but I'm going to need some help. Someone needs to start a fire, someone needs to get us some game, and someone needs to see if they can get some water. All right?
The fire.
I called this on the game.
All right?
I guess I'll go get water.
And I'll sit here and look pretty.
They look over to Goatee and say, I think I saw a rabbit burrow about to the southwest of here. See what you can get.
Roger, roger.
Go ahead and roll me a nature check to see what you can find.
That's a natural one.
Unfortunately, you mistake a rabbit hole for a snake hole and spend 5 minutes just looking into it, waiting for the rabbits to come out, but only seeing a snake go in.
That doesn't feel right.
But once everyone is back and Surebean has finished up the soup, they throw in a couple of their own ingredients into what they call good berry stew. The berries, herbs, and acorns mixed together in a small clay pot with a little bit of seasoning as needed. When completed, it doesn't taste great, but it does its job and keeps you filled in no time flat. Gotta say, you four are keeping up really well, Surebean comments. At this rate, you may just make it back before dusk.
But I'm going to need you to do something a little bit more risky if we're going to make it on time.
They point back towards the river. Chesapeake may be small, but it's fast and unforgiving. The next narrow spot is at least 2 hours away, and sadly, it's not much safer. That leaves us only one option: jump. On any good day, me and the little Lucrata could get across no problem. But with a rider, nothing is guaranteed, especially with you two. They point to Alera and Goatee.
What does that mean?
Nothing, I'm just saying you're more likely to weigh down your Lucrata and end up falling into the water.
Oh, fat phobic.
I'm not calling you fat, they say. However, I don't think that heavy metal armor you're wearing floats.
She shrugs.
If need be, I can cast the jump spell to help facilitate the jump of these things.
Good to know. Thankfully, I don't think that will be necessary.
If you can just hit that rock, they point to the small moss-covered rock in the middle of the river, they can make it across by using it as a spring point to the next point. I'll signal when you can jump and where to go. You just need to keep your head down and clap both of your feet when you've got chance. Understood?
Yes, me first.
All right. How this is going to work is that you're going to make an athletic check using your Lucrata, basically roll a d20 and add a 4 to it. However, before each time, I am going to say that each of you, if you want, can do something to help out. If anything, what would you like to do to help out Izzy to make this jump?
Well, I'm gonna just be very patient with the Lucrata from now on. I'm gonna pat it and treat it very respectfully from now on. Growing very close to it.
Roll me an animal handling check.
Not even that one. It's a one though. It's still a one.
Two.
Two minus. It's still.
All right. Well, unfortunately, it becomes a little bit agitated. However, Surebean's going to step in, try to calm it down, and they're going to cast guidance, meaning that you're going to get a D4 for this one roll, saying, "Please, be careful." All right.
Is it my horns she doesn't like? What's that?
All right.
All right.
You're going to go ahead and make the roll. Let's see what you get first off. So roll d20.
Oh my. Wait, I'm using. I should just use it. That's a one again. That one. I'm using. I switched back to the green on accident. You know what?
Unfortunately, as you make this jump, your Lucrata misjudges the jump and unfortunately slips and falls into the river. Everyone, we're going to need to try to save them from falling down. All right.
Hold on, wait. I think. Oh wait, do I have? Okay. Wait. What's an explorer's pack? What's in that? Yeah, I think I have rope. I'm going to take my 50 feet of hempen rope, use my invisible mage hand with my Githyanki ancestry abilities, and just send it down to him.
All right. That happens, and Surebean is going to go ahead and, thanks to that, make an athletics check to try to pull both Izzy and Lucrata out of the water, with advantage thanks to your rope. They roll a 15, which is just enough to get you out, Izzy. All right. As you get on top, they are going to look at you and said, "I said on my signal, not before."
Sorry.
Who's next?
I can do it. I'll do it.
All right.
Can I? Is the Lakota an animal?
Yes.
I can do this once for a long rest. I'm gonna cast to speak with animals.
Right.
So they can understand the inspiration I'm about to give them.
Gotcha.
All right.
What do you say to them specifically?
All right. You just gotta do it to signal, and then we're gonna jump. It's gonna be simple. It's gonna be surgical. We got this. Okay?
All right. They take that, and as a result, your Lucrata goes in sync with you, and go ahead and roll me a athletics check with advantage.
Not the two.
You're kidding.
Oh,
Even with advantage.
I rolled a 1, and then there was a 2.
Okay, unfortunately, Goatee falls into the water next.
Okay, and I was like, and I Wolfite sends down the rope again. We really can't be doing this. We can't. This can't happen every time.
All right, they're gonna once again. Surebean is gonna roll to get you out of the water, and they make it again with a 12.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
I am molting.
At this point,
The dishwasher falls into the water.
I'm gonna see you do this.
right? Moldavite, it's now your turn.
I kind of go up to my Lucrata and like, we can't screw this up again. These happened 2 times. I'm also, frankly, I'm confessing you right now, Lucrata. I'm terrified of water. I'm horrified of it. So like, I can't fall into the water. That's going to be very scary for me. So just please help me out on this one, okay? Okay.
Roll me animal handling.
Okay. Okay, side bolstered neck. Ooh, that is a 19.
All right, 19. You are able to calm them down, and you get advantage with this next roll.
Okay, and before I go, I just cast the jump spell on Alera's Lucrata to help you with that, because I can do that once per long rest. I'm just like, I just quickly enchant this Lucrata. Okay. Nat 20.
You seamlessly make it across. At one point, it seems like your Lucrata barely touches the edge of the rock, and then immediately makes it across without any issue.
Thank you, that was horrifying, thank you.
Alera, you're up now. What exactly does the jump spell do? You read it for me?
Jump distance is tripled.
Gotcha. In that case, Alara, thanks to that, you are able to make it across no problem as well. No roll required.
Nice.
Thank God.
Alright.
All right?
I'm gonna try something for my roll. Izzy's going to try.
Mm-hmm. What are you going to do, Izzy?
Izzy is going, as he sees Motivite and Alara easily get across, he thinks of an idea. He's going to cast prestidigitation on himself to make himself smell exactly like a lacrosse in hopes of getting closer to him yet again.
All right.
Okay.
I don't exactly know what lacrosse smells like.
The odor, well, the odor of newborn, like you said.
As you get on your...
The stench.
All right. Well, regardless, as you do that, go ahead and roll me another handling check.
It went up from 1 to a 5.
Okay, well, unfortunately, your spell doesn't quite work, but go ahead and roll me the athletics check this time. And once more, Surebean is going to try to cast guidance on you.
That's 17.
All right. You don't need the guidance, so you're able to get across no problem whatsoever as well. Now we're going to go ahead and go on to Goatee. As you do this, let's go ahead and roll me the roll.
We're gonna do it again. This now from Okay, 16 into 12 plus 4, right?
Yep, that's enough to get you across, no problem.
Okay.
You jump over and make it across to everyone else. Surebean then takes this moment to, as well, look around.
And they are going to make a quick athletics check. Okay, they make it to the first rock. However, their foot slips on the moss.
And, unfortunately, they stumble and barely cling on to the stone as they are desperately trying to not fall into the river right next to the waterfall. What do you do?
I send the rope down to them. Hold on, grab that real quick.
They grab it with both arms and just absolutely keep trying to claw with their hind legs back on.
I'm not that strong. Please help. And I help.
I'll help.
Yes.
All right, you all pull them up and
Yeah.
are able to. You all pull them up and are able to save them, no problem. As soon as they are, they shake their legs free of the water and say, "Well, that was stupid. Sorry I put you all through that."
So let's just forget this ever happened.
Agreed. Agreed. Now let's get back on the trail.
At around 4:30, Surebean holds up their hands once more for you to stop nearby an active fisher.
They seem conflicted, scratching their nose while muttering to themselves. All right, everyone, let's rest. We've ridden the cousins pretty hard today, and I want to make sure we don't have any more problems. Agreed?
I think we have another problem right there, and I point to the fissure.
Oh, don't worry. It takes at least a day of exposure before a person starts to be affected by a fissure. We're only going to stay here for 3 to 4 hours. Shorter if I can help it. Start moving towards the fissure and seem to be measuring it for now. They're as if they're trying to decide what exactly it can or can't do. After a few minutes, they cock their head and sniff in the air. What I'm about to say, you cannot repeat to anyone for as long as you live. Understand?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Thing is, I kind of lied when I said us gnolls don't try to change nature. Truth is, we do have one exception to that rule. They point out towards the fissure. At least in regards to this. A couple of years after the False Prince tried to take over, the Pack Lords met to discuss what to do about the fissures. We all agreed that they were disrupting the balance of the hunt, as well as hurting everyone living here. This wasn't in Lord Yeenoghu's plan of keeping nature and the gnolls in balance. It was within our duty as gnolls to protect the land and the wilderness from any corrupting forces, be it civilization or other demon princes. We agreed that we were trying to stop this, but nobody knew what to do about it. Like I said, whatever happens in nature, you change, but not the other way around. Eventually, we came to an unofficial agreement that although this change to nature was a part of the land, or at least it had been by this point, it was done so by a force outside of both Yeenoghu's will and the wilderness itself. So, some of the packs, the terriers, the moody, and the shih tzus,
Decided we wouldn't wait for the Pack Lord.
to make up their minds and just started fixing things on our own. Surebean moves towards the fissure, stopping just outside the crack. They hold up their staff and begin to mutter a faint incantation. A small flower, twisted, gnarled, and decayed, sprouts up from inside the fissure. Turns out, well, you can't exactly remove a fissure. You can disperse it. They continue to cast a spell, causing several more flowers to sprout up near the first. With each second, new flowers become less and less corrupted as they begin to cause the fissure to start shrinking away.
Servant, do you realize what you just did? My dad's working for 10 years to do that. Do you think you can come back and teach us? I know you're big on nature, but we're trying to restore the land back to what it naturally was, so it's one and the same.
Not exactly, they reply. Thing is, the Furbolgs and the Kalians set out to cure the demonic influence altogether. All I'm doing is shifting it through a couple dozen generations of flowers. You came at this problem head on, while we came for the rump instead. We're not as much curing the land of the problem as we are just running it through a quick dispersal of the land itself. It's still there, it just won't be as effective.
So, like, out of character real quick, they're, like, kind of, like, almost forcing the clock. Like, if these are half-lives, they're just, like, making it so they're speeding up the way that, like, the radiation is going.
Yeah, but there's still always going to be a lingering sense of radiation throughout the land. Essentially, if you think of it as, like, a physical presence, the Alxol Spritzer removed the presence entirely, whereas the Gnoll method instead just divides it into infinitely smaller and smaller parts. Technically speaking, it's still the exact same mass, but it's dispersed through smaller and smaller influences. So instead of it being all congested into one finite space, it's spread out evenly throughout an entire acre or so instead. So it's still there, it's just not as impactful. Like Surebean said, you can't change nature, you just have to adapt to it, or cause something to adapt to the change itself.
So it's still there, but just less harmful.
Yes.
Like, going with the radiation analogy, like, it's, like, almost like how they have their half-lives. Like, it's still there, but it's, like, you know, just sped up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right? As Surebean begins continuing to cast the spell, you look back and say, usually this spell takes about 8 hours to cast, but do any of you have a good connection with nature?
No.
Well. I'm gonna crack my robotic knuckles. Looks like it's my time to shine.
Surebean smiles. Good. I'll have you run as my second. Follow my light and try to keep up. The rest of you, if you can help by either watching the cousins or chipping in your own energy to the spells, that'd be perfect. This is going to be a group check. Either roll nature or arcana and tell me the results.
That is gonna be a nature check, and it's gonna be 14.
Arcana check 14.
Nature check 15.
Arcana check 7.
All right. As you each add in your own part of this, you are able to quickly see the crack slowly but surely decay over time. At first, it seems to be massive, but it begins to shrink a little bit, a little more, and a little more from there, and continue to shrink until eventually it is a fraction of its size and disappears altogether. As soon as it's finished, Surebean has you all go back to your mounts and has you all harness up and continue down the trail. While riding, he goes by you, Izzy, and asks, you say your dad is working on something that can help this problem, right?
Yes, it's been his life's mission at this point.
Alright. Well, look. I might be able to talk to you about this, maybe just you. But only if I get to decide who hears it and how they use it. I don't like the idea of our pack secrets getting out to anyone but us. But if the Furbolgs and Kalians can get off our backs and finally start doing something and stop complaining.
Of course, I agree. It's your power. I feel like you should have a say in what I do with it. I'm just please asking for your cooperation. That's it.
I take a moment to think about that, but then move up forward to the head of the group and start jogging. Right at dusk, the five of you round a hill to see a small set of tents camped out around a forest clearing. Beyond them, you see dozens of Lucratas grazing the grasslands and settling down for the night. Your mounts begin to shake and call in excitement. If you don't want to break your neck, get off, Surebean calls.
I just kind of combat roll off of it.
I'll just drop myself off.
I slide down, patting my little girl, who I nicknamed Alara number 2.
Izzy gently pets his as he jumps off.
Your mounts then rush off to rejoin their herd. Their arrival prompts a haggard yet joyful call from the young beasts and their parents as you hear various animal calls before they settle down, happy but tired after a long day's run. Well, I guess that's that, Surebean says. They turn to face you, but glance down towards the small campfire in the center of the tents. I know y'all are busy and want to find out who attacked the party yesterday, but
I don't think anyone would mind too much if you hung around just for the night. Besides, they motion their head back towards the fire. I think old Jupiter's making turkey stew. And let me tell you, I'd hate to deprive you of something that delicious.
Sounds good.
all right? Surebean's ears perk up and they wait for you to follow. As you do, a few gnolls clock you. A couple of the smaller ones grab the children, while the larger ones growl and pull out their weapons.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Take it easy, everybody. These folks are Easy, Moldavite, Alara, and Goatee. They helped me find the missing cousins this morning and then bring them back before dark.
One of the larger gnolls steps forward. They tower over Surebean, forcing the shepherd to stare up into their face. Word on the tale is that a group of Highlands attacked the Borzoi, they speak. How do we know these ain't spies working for the attackers, Runt? At this, Surebean scowls.
Because if they were, they're the worst group of spies I've ever seen in my life. No offense.
I mean, yeah, valid.
Well, I don't claim to be a spy, I guess, so no offense taken.
Yeah, thank you for defending us.
Thank you.
You want to know how they found our cousins? They ran right into them in the middle of the bushes. I could hear their chatter for miles, but they didn't notice the babies until they ran right into them.
Besides, you know fully well I can handle myself. If they were really here to attack us, I would have dealt with it and still made it back. They then turned to you and smiled. But they didn't. Instead, they helped me get the cousins back to safety, and all they want in return is a bowl of turkey. Is that too much to ask for them to just forget about everything and just enjoy some turkey soup?
Not unless they stop standing around and get in line already.
The old gnoll by the pot yowls. Specs! Stop picking on Surebean and let the folks in. Abashed, the larger gnoll Specs slouches and calls, But Jew! They're outsiders. The Borzoi won't hear a peep out of any of us. And they'll like it that way. Now, either you mind your pack leader, or I'll chop off that great big tail of yours and use it to garnish everyone's dinner. Everyone starts to cackle at this, the tension dispersed. Specs sighs and leads you to the line. He gives you each a bowl before grabbing his own and getting right behind you. Once you're all given some soup, you see everyone eat the stew and sniff each other's ears. Jupiter comes up and does the same for each of you.
He sniffs our ears.
They start sniffing your ears, yes.
Well, a lovely dinner.
Relax, everybody. They're just trying to get to know you, I promise. Once Jupiter finishes up with Goatee, they say, You've studied the path of nature before, haven't you?
Well, yes. Thank you for noticing.
Thank you. I knew your druid. She was a good woman.
You did.
They take a quick sniff at Alara, and then say to you, Thank you for coming, before taking another sniff of Ezzy forward, and then taking one final sniff at Moldavite. As they do, they look you in the eyes and say, You've seen some stuff, haven't you?
He kind of nods and is like, I don't exactly want to lie here, but yes, they have.
They look down at your bowl, give you a second serving, and say, Tonight, you forget about it.
And he just kind of takes a whole spoonful of turkey stew and is like very wide-eyed, like kind of almost like he's thinking about something, he's trying to force it back down, look in his head.
Once everyone has emptied their bowls, Jupiter takes them all and using a great water spell, empties and cleans all of them before banging on the empty pot to silence everyone. Well, I think today's hunt went well, he said. Father Yeenoghu has given us all many challenges, but he also provided us with the opportunity to grow from them. They turn to you and grin a slightly jabberjaw smile, as well as find others in tune with the hunt. In tune with the hunt, a gravelly voice calls from behind you.
I look over that to see who said that.
My head jolts back and looks up.
I'm just staring. I'm still staring at the soup, not really listening to what other people are saying. Like, this is what gnolls eat.
You see 5 muscular gnolls step out from behind the hill and move down towards the tent. All 5 have had their fur around their heads pulled back and bleached white. Their chests are puffed up and highly muscular, and 2 of them have additional marks running down their arms. Long, interrupted, gangrenous green claw marks. Ooh. You speak blasphemy, Old One. I speak for the wild, Jupiter shoots back, which is more than I could say about you, sorry excuse for hunters. At this, they spit into their pots, which ricochets inside. The Borzoi nose are unfazed, moving forward towards the group. Our scouts found tracks leading into the territory from Kalia this morning. 4 tracks. Each one leading in, but not out. Surebean growls lowly and grips their staff. Jupiter blinks, but recovers. So what? These 4 are hardly the only outsiders coming in from the east. True, but they are the only ones who also were seen yesterday during the attack. 3 of the gnolls begin to move back towards the Luke bottom. The marked gnoll remains in place, smiling. His teeth are sharpened into razor fangs, stained with blood. The 4 of you aren't here for the hunt. Never have and never will be. I can smell it on you.
Remember him.
We're not here to fight. We're just here trying to investigate the gnoll attack the other day.
At that, they grin as Surebean face palms. They turn to the other moody gnolls, gesturing at them. Within the law of Yeenoghu, we are ordered to protect the balance of the hunt at all costs. Destroy those that would disrupt that balance. He points to all of you, then to one of the hunters in the back. That is what happened yesterday. We were protecting our sacred duty. Who killed our warriors in arms, sent to protect the lands from invaders and corruptors? One of the hunter gnolls flips open their hood. You recognize them immediately as one of the hunters that escaped the ambush yesterday.
Damn.
They did, he growls. I saw them massacre my cackle, leaving me the sole survivor. The marked Borzoi turns back to the Moody. And what should we do with these outsiders? These corruptors? I invoke the right of blood, the hunter calls. For my family, I shall see you all slain! And that's where we're going to have to end our session for tonight, folks.
Oh.
Hate a cliffhanger.
Hello, everyone. This is Charlie Hartman once more here to give you a quick update on the podcast. First and foremost, thank you so much for listening to Episode 2 of Yugoloth Tabletop. Episode 3 will release on March 21st, along with 4 and 5 on the 1st and 11th of April, respectively. In the meantime, I'd like to once more thank Dr. Christoph Thompson and Jeffrey Seitz at Ball State's Music Media Production Facilities for allowing us to use their studios and resources to record the episodes. I'd also like to take this time to shout out our social media profiles once more. We're on Twitter at YugolothYTT and Instagram at YugolothTT. Same spelling for both. In the meantime, if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to like, share, subscribe, and comment in order to interact with the community and get the algorithm all happy with us. And also look us up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, and iHeartRadio if you haven't done so already, and listen to us on the go. I'd also like to take this time to quickly thank everyone once more for listening in. The The next couple episodes will see a stark improvement in audio quality and visuals. And in the meantime, we hope that we have engaged you with this first initial release and that moving forward, we'll be able to continue keeping you intrigued in our exploits. So wherever you're from, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're becoming, thank you so much for listening to Yugoloth Tabletop, and we hope you have a great day.